Welcome to BD Daily Tech News Podcast, your daily briefing on tech and innovation. It's 2026, January 6th, and today's theme is simple. The future is arriving as supply chain, not as science fiction.
The bots aren't coming, they're being shipped in pallets. Like, please sign for your AI at the loading dock.
4 stories, all tech. Nvidia says Rubin data center chips are in production. Universal Music partners with Nvidia on AI music. Quantum startup Photonic raises $131 million. And Nvidia picks Hesai Lidar for its self-driving platform.
So today we're doing chips, tunes, quantum, and car lasers. This episode is basically a sci-fi buffet, except you still have to pay for parking at CES.
Story 1. Nvidia's CEO says the highly anticipated Rubin data center processors are on track, in production, and customers will soon be able to try the technology. That's a meaningful shift from slides to silicon.
Whenever a CEO says soon, I hear, don't ask me for a date. But in production is spicy. That's like the difference between I'm writing a cookbook and the lasagna is in the oven.
Here's the simple version of the tech. Data center AI chips are like engines for training and running models. Each new generation is basically trying to do more work per unit of time, per watt, and per rack, because power and cooling are the real bosses.
So the chip isn't just faster, it's faster without setting your electricity bill on fire, which is relatable. My toaster has the same product vision.
Why it matters for normal people. When the next-gen hardware is real, it changes the timeline for better AI features in products you touch. Search, coding tools, voice assistants, video generation, because those features are constrained by compute availability and cost.
And for developers, customers can try it soon means get ready for a new round of benchmarking and a new round of disappointment when your code is the bottleneck, not the chip. You. It's character building.
Actionable takeaway. If you run AI workloads, plan for a transition period. Keep your models portable, containerized, reproducible, and tested across different accelerators so you can actually benefit when new hardware shows up, instead of spending months rewriting pipelines.
And if you don't run AI workloads, the takeaway is still compute is the new rent. The people with access to the best chips will ship nicer features first. Everyone else will ship a loading spinner with confidence.
Story 2. Universal Music Group is partnering with Nvidia to boost AI in music discovery and creation, while trying to manage the risks AI poses to music catalogs. That's the key tension. Accelerate creation, protect ownership.
Finally, a collaboration between the world's most powerful GPUs and the people who can copyright strike you into the sun. This will be calm and normal.
Simple version. Generative music models learn patterns from lots of audio and metadata. Then they can generate new audio or help with search and recommendations, like finding songs with a certain vibe, tempo, instrumentation, or even a production style.
So it's basically Shazam's ambitious cousin. Instead of, what song is this? It's, make me a song that feels like driving at night while pretending my life is a movie.
Why it matters. For listeners, discovery tools could get more precise. Less doom scrolling for playlists. For creators, AI can speed up rough drafts, stems, and variations. But the catalog risk is real. Training data, voice and style imitation, and attribution disputes.
We're about to enter the era of, I didn't steal your song, my model just has the same emotional damage. And then everyone meets in court, where no one has ever heard a song before.
Actionable takeaway for everyday users. Watch for clearer labeling, AI-assisted, AI-generated, or human-only, because platforms will need trust signals. For creators, keep project files and provenance. Save stems, timestamps, and session history, so you can prove authorship and licensing paths.
Okay, quantum time. Photonic raised $131 million. I love how quantum funding headlines are always like, we got a lot of money to maybe do magic later.
The report says Photonic raised $180 million, about $131 million, with new shareholders including Royal Bank of Canada and TELUS, alongside existing backers including Microsoft. That mix signals strategic interest, telecom, finance, and big cloud.
When telecom shows up, I assume they're asking, can we bill quantum by the minute? Like roaming charges, but for entanglement.
Simple version. Quantum computing uses qubits that can represent more complex states than normal bits. Photonic approaches use light, photons, as part of how they store or move quantum information. The promise is performance on certain problems, but the hard part is stability and scaling.
So classical computers are like a library where every book is either open or closed. Quantum is like the book is open, closed, and also on hold at 3 branches until you look at it. Librarians hate it.
Why it matters for normal people right now. Not because you'll buy a quantum laptop, it's because industries are positioning early. Security, optimization, materials, and networking. Also, quantum progress pushes urgency around post-quantum cryptography planning.
The practical takeaway is if you run a company, don't wait for a quantum apocalypse headline to update your crypto. Do it now, calmly, like changing smoke detector batteries, but for math.
Story 4. Nvidia chose China's Hesai for Lidar in its self-driving platform, and Hesai says the sensors are ready for mass production. This is less about a single sensor and more about industrialization.
Mass production readiness is the grown-up part of autonomy. Anyone can tape a sensor to a car and call it a demo. Shipping thousands is when reality starts grading your homework.
Simple version, Lidar is like giving a car a tape measure made of light. It shoots pulses, measures return time, and builds a 3D map. Pair that with cameras and radar, and you get redundancy. Different sensors fail differently.
So cameras are like eyes. Radar is like, I sense vibes. And LiDAR is like the car yelling, Marco, and the world yelling, Polo, but with math.
Why it matters, if the platform vendor is standardizing on a LiDAR supplier, it can shape cost, availability, and integration for automakers and robotics teams. It also raises the importance of supply chain resilience and compliance across regions.
And for regular people, this is the boring but important part. The future of driver assistance depends on sensors you never see, sourced from places you've never been, surviving weather you complain about daily.
Quick recap. Nvidia says Rubin is in production. Compute timelines tighten. Universal plus Nvidia signals AI music moving from experiments to pipelines, with rights and provenance as the battleground. Photonic's $131 million raise shows quantum strategic pull. And Hesai Lidar in Nvidia's platform highlights autonomy as manufacturing and integration, not just algorithms.
The vibe is hardware is real, content is synthetic, and trust is the subscription you didn't know you signed up for. Also, if your car starts saying Polo, please update your firmware.
If this helped, subscribe for your daily tech briefing and share the episode with someone who still thinks AI chips are edible. We'll be back tomorrow with more tech, more context, and fewer buzzwords per minute. By force.
Leave a comment with the one thing you want explained like you're smart but tired. That's the whole brand. See you next time.